Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're zeroing in on something really exciting happening at UC Berkeley.
Oh yeah, what's that?
They're launching a brand new neuroscience major starting fall 2024.
Ah, okay. That is big news.
It really is. Get this, it's the first new biological sciences department they've established in over 30 years.
30 years. That definitely says something about how important they think neuroscience is now.
Exactly. And we've got this pretty comprehensive report here that looks at the new program across 10 different criteria.
Okay, 10 criteria, so a real deep look.
Yep. And our mission today is pretty simple. Pull out the most important, the most interesting bits so you can get up to speed quickly on what this major is all about.
Sounds good. Let's unpack it. It's more than just a new major. It sounds like a fundamental shift for them in biological sciences.
Totally. Okay, so first criterion, reputation and rankings. Where does Berkeley stand? The report makes it, well, pretty clear they're top tier.
Yeah, Berkeley's reputation is, stellar. What are the latest numbers saying?
U.S. News for 2025 has them at hashtag 17 nationally, hashtag 2 public school.
Strong start.
And it gets better. WSJ College Pulse 2025 ranks them hashtag 8 overall. That's the highest public uni on their list.
Okay, number 1 public according to WSJ.
And Forbes' 2024 list also called them the hashtag 1 public. So really consistent recognition there.
Right. And those rankings, they aren't just, numbers on a page. They mean something.
How so?
Well, for a student going into this new major, that Berkeley name carries weight. It signals academic rigor, research prestige. Think about it. 30 grad programs in the top 10 nationally, 26 Nobel laureates on faculty.
That's serious academic firepower. It definitely gives graduates an edge, doesn't it?
Absolutely. Employers know it, grad schools know it, and specifically for neuroscience, Berkeley's already a powerhouse.
Yeah, the report mentioned that their biological sciences grad programs are ranked hashtag 3.
And the neuroscience PhD is right up there too, usually top 6 or 7 nationally. Globally, they're in the same conversation as places like Harvard, Stanford, UCSF for neuroscience research.
So this new undergrad major isn't starting from scratch.
Not at all. It's built on the foundation of the Helen Wills Neuroscience Institute, HWNI.
Right, I saw that mention. Been around a while.
40 years. It's been this leading interdisciplinary center, and the faculty they've pulled together for this new major.
Wow. Like who?
People like Yang Dan, Jack Gallant, Bruno Olshausen, Doris Tao. The report calls them an amazing group of scientists and mentors. These are like leaders in the field.
So the major basically gets instant credibility just from the Berkeley name and the strength of HWNI and these faculty.
Exactly. Huge built-in advantage.
Okay, that makes sense. Let's move to the second point, academic quality and curriculum. What are students actually going to learn? First off, accreditation.
All good there. Fully accredited by WASC, the regional body, just reaffirmed in 2025 for 10 more years. So the quality standard is met.
And it's a BA degree, right? Through the College of Letters and Science.
That's right, a Bachelor of Arts. And the curriculum itself, it's interesting. It evolved from the old neurobiology track within the molecular and cell biology major, MCB.
Ah, so it's not totally brand new territory for them, curriculum-wise.
Sort of. They've formalized it, expanded it. Starting 2025-26, if you want to study neuro at the undergrad level, you declare this standalone neuroscience major. It's the main path now.
Okay. What foundation do students need before they even get into the neuro stuff? The prerequisites.
This is solid science base. You're looking at general chemistry with lab, general biology with lab.
Standard pre-med stuff.
Pretty much. Plus calculus, or they offer a calculus plus statistics sequence option and physics. It really sets them up for the interdisciplinary nature of neuroscience.
Makes sense. And the upper division core, what's the heart of the major?
2 main courses, NE 100A, which is cellular and molecular neurobiology, and NE 100B, covering circuits, systems, and behavioral neuroscience.
So from the single neuron up to complex behaviors.
Exactly. It's comprehensive. And then there's this required 2-unit course, NEU 110, Scientific Logic and Communication.
Oh, interesting. What's that focus on?
It's all about scientific analysis, writing, oral communication skills. They use active learning, which is great. Really focuses on how to be a scientist, not just learn the facts.
That communication piece is so crucial. What about labs? Got to have hands-on experience, right?
Absolutely. It's required. You need at least 1 advanced lab course.
What are the options?
There's a neurobiology lab, a neuroanatomy lab, and they're launching a new cognitive and computational neuroscience lab too.
So real variety there.
Yeah, and they teach cutting-edge techniques, like NEU 171L covers electrophysiology, optogenetics, stuff you'd actually use in a research setting.
And I saw something about substituting research for the lab course.
You did. Students can petition to use a faculty research project they're involved in to fulfill that requirement. It's a neat way to integrate deep research experience directly into the curricula.
Okay, so core courses, communication labs. How do students specialize? Can they tailor it to their interests?
Definitely. They need to take 3 upper division neuroscience electives, and the list is pretty extensive.
Covering different areas.
Yeah, it spans 4 main research themes: circuit systems and behavioral, molecular and cellular, cognitive, and computational neuroscience.
So you could really focus, say, on the computational side if you wanted.
Precisely. You might take courses like NEU 151, Computational Neuroscience, or maybe Neurotechnology, NEU 165. Or if you're more into cognition, there's NEU 128. Lots of choice to build depth.
It sounds really interdisciplinary by design.
It absolutely is. The program intentionally blends biology, psychology, behavior, computation. Lots of courses are cross-listed with other departments.
And the faculty reflect that too, right? You mentioned joint appointments earlier.
Exactly. 18 out of the 33 faculty have joint appointments in places like MCB, psychology, even computer science and engineering. That cross-pollination is huge for students.
Plus, there's that outside perspectives requirement.
Right. Another smart feature. You have to take at least one upper division 3-unit course in a related STEM field outside of neuroscience.
Like data science or psych.
Yeah, or computer science, bioengineering.
Yeah.
It encourages you to look at brain science through a different disciplinary lens.
Very cool. What about culminating experiences, like a thesis?
Options there, too. There's an optional senior capstone. Some advanced electives are designated as these small, intensive seminars where you do a substantial research paper, like a neuroethology capstone.
And for those really wanting to dive deep into research.
There's an honors thesis option, which is a 2-semester research project, NEU H196AB, or a 1-semester senior research thesis, NEU 191. Both involve lab work and writing a thesis paper. Great prep for grad school.
Okay. And overall rigor. How tough is this major expected to be?
The report says it's comparable to established tough science majors like MCB or integrative biology at Berkeley.
So challenging but rewarding.
Pretty much. All major courses need a level grade, minimum 2.0 GPA in the major to graduate. The faculty committee really designed it to be well-sequenced and high quality. NE 100A, for example, is described as a comprehensive survey. They expect a lot.
Definitely sounds robust. Okay, third criterion, faculty and teaching. We touched on the star power, but let's dig into the teaching aspect.
Right, so 33 faculty members launching the program, that's a solid number, and their expertise covers everything from molecules to behavior to computation and neurotech.
15 core, 18 joint appointments.
Yep, that mix ensures both a dedicated neuroscience focus and that crucial interdisciplinary connection. And the quality is just exceptional. We mentioned Dan, Gallant, Zhao, Olshausen, but also people like Udi Izakov, Marla Feller, Rich Ivory, Michael Yartsev, Daniela Kofer, Bill Jagus. These are big names with major awards, National Academy memberships.
Okay, world-class researchers, but are they good teachers, especially for undergrads?
That's always the question, isn't it? But the report suggests yes. Many have taught popular, highly rated courses in MCB or Psych before this.
So they have experience engaging undergrads.
It seems like it. And the department chair, Dan Feldman, he's actually won teaching awards. Plus, faculty committees specifically oversee the curriculum and teaching quality. They've been proactive in setting this up.
That's good to hear. What about class sizes? Is it all huge lectures?
It's a mix. The core courses, like NEU 100A, might be medium-sized lectures, maybe 200, 240 students, but those always have smaller discussion sections, like 30 students, for more interaction.
And the advanced courses?
Those will be smaller.
Right.
Advanced electives, the labs like NEU 171L, which is capped around 48, you'll get more personalized attention there.
What's the overall student-faculty ratio at Berkeley?
Around 19.1, and the report notes that about 71% of undergrad classes there have fewer than 30 students.
So opportunities for smaller settings exist.
Definitely. And crucially, there's a real philosophy of mentorship. Professors take undergrads into their labs for research credit. NEU 991199, having faculty offices in the same buildings as the labs and classrooms helps to encourages those informal interactions.
What about teaching methods? Is it just lectures?
No, they're emphasizing modern approaches. We mentioned the active learning in NEU 110. There's also problem-based learning, discussions based on primary research papers, getting students right into the current science.
Seminar-style capstones, too, you said.
Right. Really digging into topics with faculty guidance. And because the faculty are the researchers, students learn the absolute latest techniques and findings directly from the source. The labs are designed to mimic real research.
Like NEU 171L, where they're doing electrophysiology and stuff.
Exactly. They're doing experiments, analyzing real data, and historically, student feedback on these kinds of neuro-related courses at Berkeley has been really positive. Plus, good advising resources are in place.
Sounds like a strong teaching environment. Okay, number 4, experiential learning. We've touched on labs and research, but let's focus on the hands-on aspect.
Yeah, this is a major strength highlighted in the report. It's all about active participation. The lab courses aren't just follow the recipe. They're about designing experiments, troubleshooting, analyzing data, writing reports like being in a mini research group.
And the emphasis on getting into actual faculty labs seems huge.
It really is. They strongly encourage it, offer credit for it, NEU 99199, NEU 191, and even have a dedicated webpage to help students find positions.
Can students do research outside the department, like at LBNL or UCSF?
Yes. That's a great feature. As long as you have a neuroscience faculty sponsor, you can do research at affiliated places like Lawrence Berkeley Lab, Children's Hospital Oakland Research Institute, or even labs at UCSF. It really opens up the possibilities.
So students aren't just limited to campus labs.
Not at all. Many students will likely join labs in HW&I or related departments pretty early, sophomore or junior year. And these aren't just washing glassware students can end up co-authoring papers.
Wow. Are there specific funded research programs?
Yes. The Gunther Sent Neuroscience Research Scholars Program. It's prestigious, offers a $7,500 stipend for a year of dedicated research with a faculty mentor. That's significant support.
That's a fantastic opportunity. What about general campus research programs?
Neuroscience students can tap into those too. Things like URAP, the Undergraduate Research Apprentice Program, or SURF for summer research. Both often provide stipends.
And the thesis options we discussed earlier also fit here.
Absolutely. The honors thesis, H196AB, and the senior research thesis, NEU 191, are prime examples of deep experiential research learning.
Beyond formal research, what else counts as experiential learning?
Lots. There are co-curricular things like seminars, journal clubs, the CalCortex Club sounds cool, and interest groups in specific areas like synaptic physiology or computational neuro.
Can undergrads attend the main departmental seminars?
Yep, they're encouraged to go to the regular neuroscience seminar series and the annual Berkeley Neuroscience Research Conference. Great exposure.
What about internships, especially given the location?
Huge emphasis on internships. Berkeley's location is perfect for it. The QB3 program offers paid summer internships at top Bay Area biotech companies.
Like Gentech.
Genentech, potentially Neuralink, Chan Zuckerberg BioHub, and there are connections for summer research at UCSF too.
Any on-campus activities?
Sure, things like outreach programs during Brain Awareness Week. And the DECAL program lets students design and teach their own one-unit courses, so you can see neuro-related decals popping up.
And that LSBE program sounds like a unique experiential track, too.
Right. The Robinson Life Science Business and Entrepreneurship program, combining neuro with business and entrepreneurship capstone, industry mentors. That's very hands-on in a different way. Plus, all the usual pre-health clubs and the new neuroscience club at Berkeley itself offering mentorship and events.
It's a really rich set of opportunities.
Yeah.
Which leads perfectly into point 5, industry engagement and location advantage. We keep mentioning the Bay Area.
Because it's impossible to overstate how important it is for this program. It's a massive strategic advantage.
Break that down. What does that proximity mean practically for students?
Okay, you've got UCSF right across the bay, a world leader in medical and neuroscience research. You've got Silicon Valley for tech and neurotech connections. And you've got Biotech Bay in South San Francisco, packed with companies.
Big pharma, startups?
Both. Gentech is the anchor, but tons of others focused on Neurodenali, Annexon, Neumora, Alto Neuroscience. The report mentions over 260 neuro-related companies in the Bay Area.
Wow. And neurotech, too.
Yeah, companies like Neuralink, Precision Neuroscience, Synchron are right there. Plus major hospitals, research institutes like LBNL, CZ BioHub, and Stanford nearby. It's an incredible ecosystem.
How does the program actually connect students to this ecosystem? Is it just osmosis?
No, it's more intentional than that. We mentioned the LSBE capstone course that directly engages with business and entrepreneurship and life sciences. Many faculty have industry collaborations or their own startups.
So those connections can filter down.
They can, through guest lectures, maybe research opportunities, mentorship. There's potential for future industry-sponsored capstone projects, too. And don't forget the alumni network.
Right, Berkeley has a huge network.
Exactly. In biotech, tech, medicine, the College of Letters and Science has mentoring programs. Recruiters from all the big companies are on campus constantly. Berkeley's #1 in producing startup founders, remember. That entrepreneurial spirit is pervasive.
So the Bay Area is like an extended classroom and career launchpad.
Pretty much. Internships often turn into jobs. You could even do part-time internships during the school year, thanks to BART. Students get exposed to innovation constantly through seminars, conferences, hackathons. It links directly to the next point.
Which is number 6, career outcomes and ROI. What can students realistically expect after graduating with this degree?
Based on outcomes from related majors like MCB at Berkeley, the prospects look excellent. A lot will likely go on to further study.
Med school, PhD.
Yeah, health professional schools are a common path, and this major provides strong pre-med prep. PhD programs in neuroscience or related fields are another major route. Probably over half might go the grad professional school route.
And for those going directly into the workforce?
Lots of options. Biotech pharma research roles, clinical research jobs, the growing neurotech sector, think brain-computer interfaces, AI applications, also science communication, teaching, data science.
What about job placement and demand? Is there a need for neuroscience grads?
Generally, yes. Berkeley grads have strong placement overall, and the skills you gain, analytical thinking, data analysis, biological understanding, are valuable. Demand is high in research labs, clinical research organizations, tech companies working on brain-related tech. The Bay Area market is particularly hungry for this talent.
What kind of salaries are we talking?
Entry-level lab jobs might start in the, say, 50–70K range. But if you've built up strong computational data skills, you could be looking at 80–100K plus Berk, especially in data science or consulting roles, right out of undergrad. And a Berkeley degree sets you up for good career progression.
And the return on investment, the ROI, Berkeley usually ranks well there.
Very well. Consistently cited as a high ROI school by Forbes, WSJ, #1 public for value. UC system data shows grads earning significantly above average years after enrolling. For neuroscience, the potential is high, especially with that entrepreneurial connection, the #1 school for founders.
So the investment pays off, both in salary potential and in grad school placement.
Right. Berkeley's reputation is a huge boost for grad school applications. Strong letters of recommendation and that research experience really make grads competitive for top PhD programs like MIT, Harvard, Stanford, or staying at Berkeley.
Are there specific career support resources?
Oh, yeah. Berkeley has a main career center, specific pre-health advising, the Beyond Academia program for non-academic careers. Plus, the Neuroscience Advising Office will help with grad school and job planning. And tapping into alumni networks via at Cal or LinkedIn is key.
It sounds like the career prospects are definitely a major positive. Let's shift gears to number 7, culture and student life. What's it like being a student there, especially in this major?
Berkeley's culture is, well, intense. It's intellectual, passionate. Students are really engaged.
Competitive or collaborative?
It leans collaborative, actually.
Yeah.
Study groups are common. Research labs foster teamwork. The neuroscience department itself is aiming for a welcoming, inclusive culture, emphasizing diversity. And the interdisciplinary nature means you're interacting with students from psych, data science, cog-sci.
Are there student clubs specifically for neuroscience?
Yes. The Neuroscience Club at Berkeley, NSCB, just started in 2024. They're doing journal clubs, seminars, mentorship, outreach. Sounds very active. Plus, students join related clubs like the Cognitive Science Students Association, pre-med groups, bioethics clubs, diversity and STEM groups.
Like SACNAS or NSBE?
Exactly. Active chapters of those. And programs like Berkeley STEM Scholars support underrepresented students. There's also potential for things like an undergrad neuroscience journal or participating in the big undergrad research symposium. Over 1,000 student orgs campus-wide. So lots to get involved in.
What about the general campus vibe and support systems?
It's a bustling campus, lots of energy, iconic traditions. The department has its own principles of community focused on respect, and the diversity is real. The stats show a wide mix of backgrounds, many first-gen low-income students.
And advising support within the major.
Dedicated staff in the Neuroscience Undergraduate Advising Office. Peer advising might develop too. Being a relatively small and new department could actually foster a more close-knit feel compared to giant departments.
What about life outside academics? Social life, activities?
Tons of options. Hundreds of community service groups. People love the Berkeley culture, the food scene, hiking in the hills, campus events. There are stress relief resources available too. Neuroscience students will likely form their own tight communities. And Berkeley's known for activism and engagement. Students get involved in things like mental health advocacy, AI ethics. Makes for socially aware scientists.
Sounds like a vibrant place. What about housing?
Many first years live in the dorms, sometimes on themed floors like STEM or the WISE community for women in science engineering. Later years often move to off-campus apartments or houses nearby.
Okay, a dynamic environment overall. Let's talk flexibility and program structure, number 8. How easy is it to combine neuroscience with other interests, like double majoring?
It's definitely possible. Double majors and simultaneous degrees are allowed, provided you meet the unit time limits.
What are common pairings?
Neuroscience seems like it would pair really well with data science, cognitive science, psychology, maybe computer science.
And that special LSBE program you mentioned.
Right, the Robinson Life Science Business and Entrepreneurship Program. That's a formal dual degree. Neuroscience BA and Business Administration BS. Very unique, very valuable if you're thinking biotech startups. Double majoring within letters and science is also common, like neuro and philosophy, or neuro and MCB. Advising helps figure this out.
Are there minors available in neuroscience?
Not currently a dedicated neuroscience minor, but neuro majors often pick up minors in related fields. Data science, comp sci, public health, education are common ones.
How does APIB credit fit in? Does it help with flexibility?
Yes, it can. Good scores on AP or IB exams in bio, chem, calculus can satisfy some of the lower division prerequisites. That can free up space in your schedule to take electives earlier, pursue a double major, or maybe study abroad.
Speaking of study abroad, is that feasible with this major?
The structure seems manageable. In 4 years, they provide sample plans, even a 3-year one. There should be flexibility for study abroad with good planning. The college even allows a 9th semester for double majors if needed.
Is there an online or part-time option?
No, this is designed as a full-time, in-person undergrad program. Some online courses might fulfill GE requirements in summer, but the major itself isn't online. Part-time is rare. They do plan the course rotation carefully to avoid scheduling conflicts.
Any accelerated master's programs linked to this, like 4+1?
Not specifically in neuroscience right now. Students might go into related masters like public health or data science, or maybe the Master of Translational Medicine program. But honestly, many top students finishing this BA will probably aim directly for PhD programs.
What about transferring credits, especially from community colleges?
Yeah, that's well supported. Assist.org shows course equivalencies. The prerequisites align pretty well with California community college offerings. They have tailored advising for transfer students. IB and A-level credits are also recognized.
So overall, it sounds pretty flexible, allowing for diverse academic paths.
Right. The unit count is rigorous but manageable, leaves room for breadth requirements. AP credits help. It's structured but not overly rigid.
Okay, point 9. Admission selectivity. We know Berkeley is tough to get into overall.
Extremely tough. The overall freshman admit rate was around 11% for fall 2024. That's highly competitive.
What kind of stats do admitted students typically have?
The middle 50% weighted GPA is high, like 4.15 to 4.29.
Yeah.
And remember, UC is test-free now, no SATA considered. So it's all about GPA, course rigor, essays, extracurriculars. You really need strong grades in challenging science and math courses.
But how does admission work for the neuroscience major itself? Do you apply directly?
No, that's key. You apply to the College of Letters and Science, generally undeclared. You declare the neuroscience major later, usually in your sophomore year.
And what are their requirements to declare?
You need to have completed the main prerequisites, Chem 1A, 1AL, Bio 1A, 1AL, 2 semesters of Calc, and have Physics 8A in progress with at least a 2.0 GPA in those courses.
So it's not capped or impacted like CS or engineering. If you meet the prereqs, you can declare.
Exactly. As of now, it's not restricted beyond meeting those baseline requirements. The big hurdle is getting admitted to Berkeley LNS in the first place.
That's an important distinction, and Berkeley aims for diversity in its admitted class.
Very much so. They use a holistic review process. The overall undergrad population has significant percentages of Latino, Hispanic, and Asian American students, smaller but present Black African American representation. Lots of in-state Californians, many first-gen, 26%, and low-income, 29% Pell Grant recipients. Neuroscience will likely reflect that broad diversity.
What about transfer students? Is it easier to get in that way?
The transfer admit rate to LNS is higher than freshmen, maybe around 27%, but it's still competitive. Transfers need high GPAs, usually 3.7 plus guard, and have to have completed most of the lower division prerequisites before transferring.
So bottom line, getting into Berkeley is the selective part. Once you're in LNS, declaring neuroscience is straightforward if you handle the prereqs.
That's the gist. It ensures a high-achieving, diverse group of students enters the major, with resources like the Biology Scholars Program to support them. Okay, last point, number 10, affordability. Berkeley's a public university, but California isn't cheap. What's the real cost?
Right. The sticker price can look daunting. For 2024-25, in-state students living on campus are looking at around $52,000 total cost of attendance. Commuting might bring it down closer to 38-39K. Out of state is much higher, like $80.
Oof. But that's before financial aid, right?
Crucially, yes, Berkeley has very generous need-based aid, especially for Californians. Over a third of undergrads get their full tuition and fees covered.
How does that work?
Programs like the UC Blue and Gold Opportunity Plan cover tuition fees for families earning under about $80. Cal Grants help families up to around $100K. So the net price what families actually pay can be way lower.
What's the average net price for an in-state student with need?
It can be under $20K a year. For low-income students, it could be under $10K. That's a huge difference from the sticker price.
Are there merit scholarships too? Or work study? Merit scholarships exist, like the Regents and Chancellors, but they're very competitive and offer maybe $2,500 a year, plus perks. Work study is common in aid packages, letting students earn, say, $3,000 towards their costs through campus jobs, and there are tons of campus jobs available.
We mentioned the STEM Scholar stipend, too, $7,500 for research.
Right, that helps offset costs significantly for those students. Paid RE positions in labs are another way.
So for a Bay Area local, maybe commuting with decent financial aid, it could be manageable.
Potentially, yes. Net costs could be in that 10K, 20K range, maybe lower commuting. Berkeley aims to let low-income students graduate with relatively low debt. Average debt around 18K is much lower than many private schools. There's also the middle-class scholarship, helping families up to about 180K income.
What about other cost-saving things?
Being an RA in the dorms gets you free housing meals. Tutoring pays decent hourly wages. There's an emergency grant fund, a campus food pantry. Living at home obviously saves a ton if that's an option.
So the value proposition comes back into play. The high ROI justifies potential costs, but Berkeley works hard to reduce those costs, especially for lower and middle-income Californians.
Exactly. Over 70% get some aid. Nearly 30% are Pell Grant recipients.
Yeah.
They really try to make it accessible.
Wow. Okay, that covers all 10 points. This has been an incredibly thorough look at the new UC Berkeley Neuroscience major. It really does sound like a fantastic opportunity.
It really does. We've hit on everything: the top-tier reputation, the solid and adaptable curriculum, those world-class faculty who are actually teaching, the wealth of hands-on learning.
Plus that unbeatable Bay Area location for industry connections, the strong career outcomes, and ROI, the vibrant student life.
The program's flexibility, the way admission works, tough to get in, but open declaration and Berkeley's real commitment to affordability through aid, it covers all the bases.
Absolutely. So if this has piqued your interest, definitely check out the resources we mentioned, and especially the UC Berkeley Neuroscience Department website for all the latest details.
And maybe just think about this as we wrap up. Neuroscience is this incredibly dynamic field, right? Constantly evolving. Consider how a program like this, grounded in Berkeley's strengths but designed for the future, could equip the next generation. What could you discover about the brain if you were part of it?